Welcome to the FilmGamer podcast. This is the FilmGamer podcast, and I am FilmGamer, season 5, episode 8, number 58. At least until, I fix and correct the record, but until then, we'll be good. Next week might be a special episode because I am currently scheduled to interview a director, my first director, on a film they did called Cuisine de l'Apocalypse. And I got sent a free code and watched the movie and made notes on it, so that'll be something to watch and look forward to. Um, Today will be a standard episode. I'll go through the Letterboxd account, and I'll go through Rotten Tomatoes and Box Office Mojo to see if anything's worth watching, and I'll catch you up on what I thought. So let's get to it. The big thing is the box office. So I'll go here. I'm on my PlayStation 4 still. I got an offer on a PS5 for, I think they were asking 420 and I put in 375. Or maybe I lowballed them, but they were able to cancel or close. And as a result, is it going to let me focus on my face here? Sure. And as a result, I didn't get it, but I still have a lot of games to go through. I'm even wondering, because there's a Halloween sale, do I want to get Silent Hill Homecoming? Because I did enjoy Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the Wii. That was a game that was in my backlog forever. I paid $100 for it. This one I can pay $5 for. And I'm like, $5, why not? What's the big deal? Well, I still have a lot of games to play. And this is an old game, and it's like, do I want to do that? I'm thinking I might. I still have a few days to decide, but that's a game that I'm thinking of adding to I have it on my wish list. I have it in my cart. I haven't checked it out yet, but Silent Hill Homecoming is a game that I wanted to play. Not as much as Shattered Memories, but I wanted to play it because it came out around 2008, so before Shattered Memories, and it's a 360 era game. And the one thing I never really liked about Silent Hill is that it wasn't as much of an action game like Resident Evil was. Well, this one is by an American developer, and it's about a soldier who returns home. And so the big criticism is actually what entertains me about it most, and that's you play a combat capable character. So, you can use guns and everything with ease, and that really appeals to me. Um, so I might pick that up for the $5. Why not? I've been looking for it on sale. That's as cheap as it's going to get. Why not? The answer is because I have a filthy, filthy backlog of stuff. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild being the big one for Wii U. And then I have, of course, Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings. And then Cyberpunk, which I've been focused on. I have it on PS4 here. If I can, let me see, can I reach and look in there? Here are the two games I've been playing this week. I played this one today. Brand new game, Lego Party, rented from the local library. Played it with my mom's friends' kids, and they're, like 5 and 7 or something like that. I got it for them really to play. I probably enjoyed playing it more than they did, but they had fun. A fun part about this game is that it's a Lego game that's basically like Mario Party. It's split screen on the Xbox One and PS4, and of course new generations as well. And it's a Mario Party game, but for Lego. And there's a space battle, there's a pirate land board, and a lot of fun stuff. Interesting thing that they did, advancing the Mario Party formula, is that they also, for the practice, like in game before you play, in Mario Party, you'd have to, the menu would come up, then you'd hit enter for a practice round and it would start. In this one, the practice starts right away in game as the menu is describing. and then when you want to go into the game for real, you click the shoulder buttons and then go into it. But I thought it was really impressive how in the menu, the game starts alive in the menu simultaneously as the instructions are being explained, and you can play it live, and then you hit start to start it for real. It was just kind of an interesting thing. And the signature Lego humor, it's voiced. By the way, you can choose like so many different characters. The one young one, he played with a Lego in a hazmat suit. I just played a generic red shirt. And the other one did like an astronaut in a rocket man suit. Like he literally looked like a firework. So it's a fun little game. It's well reviewed too. Lego Party, available on uh, multiple stuff. I am 8-bit is on the back here, which you can see, and I'm wondering if they were the developer or not. It says Fictions SMG and I am 8-bit, but so no TT Games or anything like that, who do the usual Lego stuff, but that's fine. So yeah, that was really enjoyable to me. And then, of course, the biggest technical hurdle, Cyberpunk 2077, which I've been playing on PC, of course, for 5 years now. Now, as long as I've been playing, Witcher 2, which I got for free from Xbox Games with Gold, or, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is the day one purchase. But I've been trying to do the cross-platform play. And the thing is that I can play off my local PS4 file that I started the last time I rented this about a month ago. The problem is that I can't load into my existing PC save file because it hasn't done a new save yet since enabling cross-platform saves. And the last thing is, of course, the Oda boss battle. And this is like, it begins in the middle of a cutscene, and you just have to kill this guy who dances around and shoots at you and then recharges his health. And I've been stuck at this for months, and I've looked on the guides and walkthroughs, and it's like, is there any way to beat this guy? And the answer is no. You just basically pound on him with like a sniper rifle or something. The problem is based on my playthrough, I'm just trying to get through it, or was trying to get through it as fast as I can, because I found it tedious. It wasn't quite clicking for me. And because of that, I just found that I wasn't like upgrading my weapons so much, and I was just going to the menus and first objective as they came up, not dilly dallying, and playing through it on my alternate on this PS4 file that Warner Brothers published. You can see here, Warner Brothers published the game at retail, and the thing is that it's funner on PS4, and it doesn't play as badly as I thought it would. And I played day zero, no patches. And since then, it forced me to do the updates and stuff. So, I'm playing through that, and it's more stable. But nothing like the updates that have come through on PC. But anyways, yeah, I've been trying to play through that, playing with an Xbox One controller, the new ones I got, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck still, and it's just one of those things that I'm stuck at. And the day that I don't get stuck, I commit to it, I'll be happy. But a little technical breakthrough I had was I was trying to figure out, because I play mainly on the big screen out there and don't like dragging back and forth and stuff like that. I'm like, how do I, activate Moonbeam? Which is just basically you download this computer program called Sunshine, and you download this app on your TV called Moonbeam, and then Sunshine sends a signal to Moonbeam, and you catch that signal via networking. And I had an hour's, half a day, afternoons long setup on it, and I couldn't get it done. And then, as usually happens with tech with me, I just, like, second time after a break, I just turned it on, worked. So I'm like, great, that's good. And then the Blue Jays game started, so haven't quite picked it up. And then there's also the issue of recording, because it's one of those things, I naturally overcomplicate everything. So I did, you know, Twitch and YouTube. Those are the main ones. And I also want to do TikTok, but I haven't signed in a while. So I tried signing in on those and I finally did those, but not completely sure if it's working. And it's just, it's a whole thing. It's always a whole thing with me. I've never quite gotten the hang of streaming. It's complicated. I understand it, but it's complicated. I'm doing it myself because I am the person who knows most about tech. If anybody around me and other people, like, who else is going to go over and fix tech stuff? Not me. And by the way, this isn't an advertisement, but I do have lemon sparkling water by President's Choice. It's still cold. It's not really going to help my throat. It's only going to make it more dry. But late at night, I like something to drink. So that's what I'm doing. So that's Cyberpunk there. In my situation with Cyberpunk. Hopefully in the next week I do get some progress. But the interview of the guy, the podcast interview of the FilmGamer podcast next week, I have that Wednesday at 1:20, and then I have tomorrow. I'm doing TikToks for a person that I interview with, and that takes a while. And then in the morning, I'm doing a read through of a gig I was just offered today, actually, $80. And it's a religious movie. And, it's just one scene at a bus stop. Should be fun. The read through is tomorrow. The shoot is the next day. So hopefully I can do it. The guy is in his 30s. I'm in my 30s. It'll be interesting. I can't wait. I'm excited about this stuff. I'm not nervous about it. Maybe I'll get nervous as I get closer, but a lot on my plate. So I have, the shooting TikToks, which I'm trying to do week to week now, because that's, the person pays me $40. And then I have the script read through in the morning, and then the script shoot the next day. And then before that, I have the interview of the podcast. So I have a full plate. And today, I had the kids and was playing, Lego Party. So, it's kind of a bummer because I enjoy it as much or as more than they do. It allows me a way to keep playing through my youth, the games that I want to play and stuff like that. Because it's just, as a gamer, and what makes this podcast hard is that I want the game content. I do like games. I like following them, but I haven't upgraded yet. Which is why I was discussing with that guy about like getting a PS5. But the thing is, my backlog has gotten so huge at this point that it's analysis paralysis. I don't know what to play. I still have games I didn't mention, Forza Horizon, even Forza Horizon 5, and which I'm not sure if that worked, getting it from the library or not. I'll have to check again. Halo Infinite, which I started, but the library copy has a scratch on it, and because the library file and the multiplayer file are different, if I download it from Xbox with my phone, which is it's how I got around Red Dead Redemption 2, where I had a scratch on the disc. So I downloaded it from my phone, and then it just quickly checked the disc to verify. Checking the disc on the Halo version only verifies the multiplayer portion. It doesn't verify the campaign portion. So it's like, it doesn't read that part. So frustrating that Microsoft does this, that there's no game on the disc. Or something, for whatever reason, it's not working. So I have to find another copy to use, basically. And those are the games that are in my backlog. Oh, I also have Mad World. That's one game I have. Super Mario Galaxy. That's another game I want to play that I'm slowly progressing through. I finally understand Michael Pachter, who is always like, oh, I played one game, played Fallout in a month, and I got stuck at one level, and that's it. But yeah, I really want to keep providing you guys with good gaming content. I just released on my YouTube channel and TikTok earlier, because TikTok I have like 3,600 followers on there. So that's where I do a lot of my editing work. So I've just, edited there was a viral song that I cut a clip to, Florence Pugh's Career, just because I heard the song and I'm like, oh, this seems like that kind of vibe. So I just go with the first idea I had, and that was going through her filmography. It's like, what does this lyric by Sophie James, which is called So Unfair, what does this lyric mean to me in regards to this? And so I just, blanked her profile. It's only like a 15 or 30-second clip. And then I did my top 15 video game trailers of all time, non CGI version, because I don't like games that don't show gameplay. So I just, had been working on that for forever. But sometimes when you work on something, you can't spit it out. You get like too ambitious, doesn't work, falls apart, gets abandoned. Like I have a top 10 DCU movies pod that needs the audio re-recorded, but it was somebody else's idea. So what I'm gonna do is just do my own idea eventually, and then I have that I was requested once, edit an entire gameplay through of Rampage, the N64 version. I think it's Rampage World Tour. And I did the first episode, and I'm like, great, let's put it up, because it took me like half an hour to edit. And the guy's like, no, I want you to finish editing every single episode of the series, and then I'll put up the first one. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. It was like a standstill. And I'm like, I just want it to go up so that there's content for the YouTube page. He's like, it doesn't matter. And now, like a year and a half to almost 2 years later, like there hasn't been any content for it since, which is frustrating because they have 10,000 subscribers. But hey, so yeah. Next up, what do we have going on here? In terms of gaming specifically, I've gone through the 2 games that I'm playing. I'll skip. Let's get to the box office. So this weekend was interesting because another Sony Pictures release was number 1. They're only second of the year, and of course it's another anime movie. This one, Chainsaw Man, the movie Re:Zero. It's an R-rated movie about a chainsaw man. I wonder if I click on it, will it even give the plot description? This is Box Office Mojo. Denji encounters a new romantic interest, Reese, who works at a coffee cafe. Well, that sounds nice. This movie opened at 18 million, made 8 million first day, and then 9 million over the next 2 days. It's hot off the presses, burns off demand quickly, as a lot of fan stuff do. But the CEO of Sony Corporation as a whole made a comment, and if you hear that, that's my dad watching the Blue Jays game. So apologize for any disturbances or language that you might hear. He's just very reactive, as boomers often are. Anyways, Chainsaw Man number 1 at the box office. Haven't seen it, might not see it, probably won't. Demon Slayer is the same deal, but I might binge them all at some point, go through a phase. In fact, as part of my last episode, as you might know, I did binge all 4 Species movies, so lifelong Species fan now. Number 2 at the box office is Regretting You. This is a Colleen Hoover adaptation from the director of The Fault in Our Stars, Josh Boone, and it stars McKenna Grace, who a lot of people are surprised at because she's so much older now. She is an actress who always played the young version of a girl in a flashback, a blonde-haired girl. Like she played young Sabrina Spellman. She played, who else? She was in the movie Gifted. She's in Ready Player One for like 3 seconds. So she always played the young version of a girl in a movie. And then her kind of, I wouldn't say breakthrough, but she was in Ghostbusters Afterlife and then Frozen Empire. So that was kind of like her growing up thing. So this is her first thing as an adult. I guess she's in her 20s now or something. So anyways, it's like a rom-com where Dave Franco, who's, James Franco's brother, together, he's been in a lot of stuff. And he's in it as like the adult, and so is Allison Williams, who was the girl from Get Out, and the woman Rose, who was the love interest, and was on Girls and stuff, daughter of NBC disgraced journalist Brian Williams, and in Megan. Anyways, they're all in this movie together. Made 13 million. Is that great? No, not really. What's the budget of this movie? I think it's like it's 40 million at most, but I'll just, because it's bothering me and because of my setup, I can bring this up immediately. And it's $30 million, and it has made 23 so far. So it's not the number that they were hoping for, but it should be fine. Like, this will come out, then it will come to Paramount Plus and do fine, and then its second pay window will be Netflix. Um, you know, and the reason it'll do that is because Paramount Plus has been, like, I guess, great for first pay windows of Paramount movies, and that's how you do it anyways if you have your own streaming service. Number 3 is Black Phone 2, which is number 1 at the box office last weekend. It's in its second week. It did about 27 million ish last weekend, dropped 50% down to like 12 million. If I can go in here, 27 million, and now worldwide it's at 80 million. And does it say how much it cost in total? Not really. I again, this is a less than 40 situation. It's just, I always look at low, but I would consider a low to modest budget. I mean, low budget is under 20 million to me, broadly speaking. But moderate budget, 20 to 40 million, or I guess because of inflation and stuff, you could do 20 to 80 million, and then beyond 80 million, I consider high budget. 100 million is almost always a blockbuster budget, no matter what, because it's talking about 9 figures. So, speaking broadly, I would go under 40 low budget for Hollywood. Under 40 is a low budget. 40 to 80 is mid budget. They don't really make many movies that have 40 to 80 million. In fact, the only movie that would have that is Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere. I'll just finish up on Black Phone 2 here. It looks creepy. The reviews for it are fine. Like, if I go into this here, it's going to make me click for the cookies, and then I'm going to have to do that. Oh, by the way, Chainsaw Man, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's one of those, like, for the fans of the show, they're the ones who watch it. Is it going to show anything else in theaters? No. How it looks at Linux, which is how Sony does their browser, which I will say, it's so simplistic. I like it better than Xboxes. But it's Rotten Tomatoes, the sidebar, everything's made for downloading apps and stuff like that, phones. So when you go to something on an actual computer, it tends to be a bit wonky. Like, it still asks me to log in, which is annoying, because when you log in, it'll still say log in the top right. It's so dumb. And again, the you're agreeing to our terms of service. Yes, I know. I just clicked that a second ago, and it's just asking me every single time. Splinter Cell Death Watch, the Netflix TV series, at 85%. That's another one like Cyberpunk Edge Runners, where it's like, I want to watch it. Long Walk, 88%. Now, I know Metacritic is actually the one you should watch here, because they give accurate reviews, but I'm just going to keep you in the loop, because it's like, Mr. Scorsese, 98%. I watched it for 5 minutes. I'm like, I kind of get it. This is boring. And it annoyed me. Only annoyed me because someone else brought it up. But one of the movies, the only movie that's not mentioned, or I guess even shown a frame of, in Mr. Scorsese, the Apple TV Plus 5-part documentary, is Hugo, which is a movie Martin Scorsese did in 2011. It was nominated for Best Picture, won 5 Academy Awards for, like, visual effects, sound, when there were 2 Sound Academy Awards, production design, and cinematography and stuff. So it's won the most amount of Academy Awards, because Departed won 4, I think, picture, director, screenplay, and editing. So this won 5. It's won more Academy Awards than any Scorsese film. It was nearly a disaster, because the producer, Graham King, pointed out that he ran through 3 line producers on the film. Graham King is the kind of producer who's the money, and the line producers are the people who keep everything in order, of, like, keep everything on schedule, organize everything. They're like the timesheet or whatever. and they're like the most important person on set when you are shooting, because the director's doing his thing. He's focused on the creative output, and you don't want him focused on logistics. So they get somebody for logistics, but the producer, he just gives the money, and this guy organizes it. And it's like the line producer one fired, line producer two walks away, or something like that. It went through the third one, finished it, but it went way over budget and way over schedule because it was made as a 3D movie. And they underestimated that everything was like double time, 2 cameras, 2 setups, twice as heavy, twice as long. And they got a bit over their skis. It was almost a disaster, but it ends up, people are like, oh, it's a masterpiece, and I like it. It's number 3 on my Scorsese list. Number 1 being Taxi Driver or The Departed. I think I have The Departed first just because it's funner to watch, but The Departed 1, Taxi Driver 2, Hugo 3, because I was so taken aback that it's like, oh, it's a film history lesson. That's cool. So yeah, back to Black Phone 2, 73%, around the same amount that the first one did, which was kind of a disappointing movie. It's kind of weird, though. You look at Joe Hill, the author of the original novel on which it's based, or short story, and he looks exactly like Stephen King because he's his son, but it's weird to see him middle-aged. And, it's just like a weird thing. Like, Stephen King, an active writer, has a son who's like, it's always weird when somebody's like, oh, they have a son and they're in their 50s. Yes, I know that this company is now part of Versant. I don't care. Where does the consensus say on it? Taking the consequences of its predecessor seriously, Black Phone 2 is a chilling sequel that mines memorable scares and thought-provoking themes from the scars that linger. It stars both Mason Thames, who is in Regretting You, he's the love interest, and Madeline McGraw, who was, of course, in the previous one, gave, in my opinion, an Oscar nomination-worthy performance as like a little girl, and it was a hit, but nobody, takes horror seriously, so whatever. Now they're both here a bit older. They're like teenagers and stuff, and it's interesting because Mason Thames talked about, oh, I didn't really know Ethan Hawke or know who he was in the first film. In this one, we got like more of a relationship, even the grabber, though the grabber is dead. And the funny thing about that is that, like, obviously Ethan Hawke likes it because he got fabulously rich. He gets part of the back end because they can't pay him up front. And when it's a hit like this, it's like, oh, you put in on those movies, which is to say you get paid nothing, but you get a percentage of the box office. So if it's a good movie, which everybody wants it to be, then you reap the benefits and get paid like massively. Like if you're an A-list actor, you might get 20 million up front, or if you're the biggest actor in the world, 30 million. And a lot of times somebody like The Rock might do that and cash out, but the movie you're in isn't going to be necessarily very good. If you're powerful enough to be like the most paid actor in the world, you should be a part of projects that are good, which is why it's annoying when a lot of like famous actors and stuff do, something, and it's just a bad movie. But anyways, I'll get back to it. Number 3 is The Black Phone, 12 million. It's a big hit. Can I see how much it costs? Because that's what I was originally going to look at. And it says, it's annoying because I went back and I don't want to go to Mason Thames movies, etc., etc. So Black Phone 2. Interesting thing about Black Phone 2, it's called Black Phone 2, and the first one is The Black Phone, so they dropped the. I wonder what the thought process behind that was, what the discussion was. $30 million. It's made $80 million, more than twice its budget, profit deal, especially in theaters, first run. Number 4 is premiering Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. It was originally just called Deliver Me From Nowhere, and which is the title, I think, of a Springsteen song. They realized, yeah, it's not hitting awareness. We need to put Springsteen on it. So they did. Made about $8 million. Looks like a boring biopic. Plays like a boring biopic. The reviews for it are like 60%. They originally debuted at 100%, but they debuted at Telluride in a private area with only the biggest fans of Springsteen around. Springsteen watch it with them. So, of course, they'll like ecstatically review it. Yeah, it's just about him crafting his album, Nebraska, which one of the negative reviews is like, this movie has a problem. the album is a snore. And it's like, obviously the filmmakers think that that album is important. A lot of people review it as a well reviewed album. That's what the movie is about. You got to meet the movie where it is. Now, broadly speaking, this director, Scott Cooper, makes boring movies. He made Hostiles, which is okay, has a few slow moments. He made Black Mass, which I described as like Catholic Mass, except just as boring and twice as long. He made Antlers, which was okay. Again, these are all very methodically paced movies. He made, I think his first movie was Out of the Furnace, which I haven't seen, but that was one where it's like, oh my gosh, this amazing cast. And it just never lives up to, his screenplays never live up to the promise of the actors who are in it. He kind of came out of the gate with Crazy Heart, which Jeff Bridges won his Oscar for, and has kind of coasted on that and always gets like good talent because they're usually like interesting roles, but he hasn't really had a breakout hit since then. And this is kind of 20th Century Studios, like last year, Deliver Me from Nowhere, the Timothy Chalamet movie came out. And off the heat off that, they greenlit this. And Springsteen is somebody, he's a billionaire who's always like commodified his stuff. It's funny, Bruce Springsteen was like, we have to fight the multi-billionaires, which he amended because he's a billionaire himself, but he doesn't seem to be an evil one, although it's kind of interesting how people say, can you be an ethical billionaire? I think so. It's just most of the people who are billionaires are tech billionaires who invest in like fossil fuels and stuff, so that's not great. But anyways, this movie has made 15 million worldwide. It cost about 60 because it does the same thing that A Complete Unknown does, where it is a very rare mid-budget movie. And what they do is they get for their crew, the best people in the business and pay them their rate. And that's just, it cost 55 million, sorry, not 60. And for example, if we just look at the cinematographer of this movie, he did Silver Linings Playbook, Warrior, and The Grey. Kind of interesting. Anything else that I would notice? The fan film of The Punisher, Dirty Laundry, which I haven't seen. Out of the Furnace, which Scott Cooper did. Black Mass, which Scott Cooper did. Stillwater, that's an okay movie. And then The Pale Blue Eye, the last movie that Scott Cooper did, which is atrocious. I remember watching it on Netflix. I can't remember if it was the last movie I watched in 2022 or the first movie in 2023. I think the first movie of 2023, and it was brutal. It was terrible. It was a slog. I'm not even sure if I reviewed it on a Letterboxd, but yeah, it was very expensive. But anyways, long story short, they put the money into this movie to make sure it's good. Another movie that, because that one's Walt Disney Studios, because it's under 20th Century Studios, Tron Ares, dropping like a rock in its third weekend, just under 5 million, 63 million total. This cost about 200 million, made 120 worldwide. Looks cool in concept, but there wasn't a really compelling story other than Tron comes to the real world, and the characters that they cast are like fine. The actors are fine, but the characters they play aren't compelling, so you can kind of get lost in the machine and their choice to pick a director who's a hired hand. It's like, of course that's not going to go anywhere. If I can find out, because apparently the real budget was revealed of this movie, and it cost 220 million. Is Disney going to go under because of it? No, but it will sell good rides. And it's only second weekend. Good Fortune comes out. This is by Lionsgate. They have good distribution and sell-off deals, so it'll be fine. It's a comedy, can't be too expensive. But let me just look at and see how much this cost, because I'm a big cost guy, but I'm not one of those annoying hawks who are like, this movie had no business costing this much. Let me tell you, if the movie is like Tron and you see the money on screen, you can't complain. Like, you can complain about the quality of the movie, but you can't complain about the budget. Like, who cares how much it costs? It's not your money. Are these major movie studios going to go under because of it? No. although there are some that are such gigantic bombs, like John Carter bombing and Tomorrowland bombing, like single-handedly convinced Disney not to invest in like original movies at all. Um, so if I go here to Good Fortune, which is, a comedy can't be too expensive, although it does star Seth Rogen, Keanu Reeves, and Aziz Ansari, but he's hiring himself. This costs 30 million. You know, it's decent for a comedy. It doesn't look visually like it's shot like an insurance commercial. So I don't like it. Doesn't You don't see the 30 million on there. I look at this and it's like somebody could have made this for 15 in like a backlot or something. But you want Keanu Reeves, you want Seth Rogen. You know, um, they get their rates. They've been working for a long time. Anything else of note? You got Shelby Oaks. This is a movie from a film critic ish. I didn't follow him that much. His name is Chris Stuckman, and he was doing YouTube stuff. And his thing is that I believe I heard that he got out of a cult, like it started in a cult, his family or something like that. But he did YouTube reviews, and I kind of found him to be sensitive, overly so. When Madam Web came out, because he was making his movie, he made a whole video about how he couldn't possibly critique Madam Web, because making a movie is hard. So he's not going to kick a movie when it's down, which to me is a cop out if you're consider yourself a critic. Like, I'll make movies someday, but I'm not going to. I'm shooting one tomorrow, but even as a director, I'll still be critical of a movie. John Carpenter recently says did not care for the substance. Is that going to hurt the feelings of the director? No, she was nominated for Best Director, and she made another good movie before that, Revenge, which you should totally see. It's on Tubi, I think. And Coralie Farja, she's French, and she was nominated for Best Director. The movie was nominated for Best Picture. It won Best Makeup. It was a huge hit. Does that, even from an industry, a legend, established horror director like him, does him commenting on one horror movie like hurt it? No, it raises awareness. Like, you don't have to give a 20-minute rant on why something sucks, but yeah, I think that's fine to critique a movie, and it's kind of a cop out to do, especially if you're a critic. You're not like above it all because you decide to make a film. Films are for everyone. That's at least how I feel. So this movie did not very much in per theater average. It made about 2.3, but it came out the weekend before Halloween, and this is one of those, it doesn't matter, the movie got made, and people are discussing it online on Twitter, just how much they hate it, which I feel they're probably going a bit hard on because they don't like him, but they don't like him in a way that's very sinister, in that they don't admit that they don't like him. I think it's totally fine to be upfront and be like, I don't like this person, especially online when we're all like behind avatars and whatnot. What I don't like is people being sneaky about it and pretending to be neutral about something. In communications and education in general, they teach us that bias is something natural. It's just a point of view. So you need to have a point of view to give context to what you're talking about. But true objectivity is impossible. It's always subjective, because nobody can experience everything. So yeah, this movie made 2.3 million for Neon. It'll probably go to Netflix and be watched there. I'm sure it's significant enough, even though it only made like $1,000 per theater. I think it'll do okay. Best case scenario, it plays like Grave Encounters, which was a found footage movie, that people saw and talk about, was cool and that kind of thing. But it's not like a significant hit or anything like that. For horror movies, they tend to do well and better on like streaming and home video and stuff, although when they hit in theaters, they're just immensely profitable because they're just so cheap. It is just so easy to mix corn syrup and red dye, splash blood on something, and the stakes are always immediate because they're life and death. So that's like something easy to do. If I came up with a decent horror story, other than cabin in the woods type thing, and it had some kind of hook to it, then I would do it. But I can't outline it now. But it is something I should work on myself. But good for Chris Stuckman. Maybe I'll review it. someday. But yeah, as a critic, I didn't find he was good at his job. Number 8 is One Battle After Another. This is a movie that people make a big deal about making money, and it's annoying because, again, put it simply, Warner Brothers made enough money on his other movies this year that this could have made $0 and it would have been fine. Um, it's going to be nominated for Oscars, so whatever box office it makes is irrelevant. And that was proven to me when The Hurt Locker won Best Picture, and it made like cost $9 million. I think it's like the lowest grossing Best Picture winner. I mean, Nomadland made more, but let me just see Hurt Locker. And by the way, that director, Catherine Bigelow, made a movie called House of Dynamite, which I will review on here. But yeah, Hurt Locker, 2 hours 11 minutes, a bit long, by the way. Cost 15. Oh, it made 50 worldwide. But how much did it make? Because its theatrical run, it was released in different areas and different times. Came out in June 2009 and did well, but holding high per screen averages and stuff. And it made 17 million in the United States. Not a whole lot. 17 million. Especially for a movie that cost 30, but it did well, by the critics and stuff like that. So, it cost 15 million, but it's since made its money back because home video and stuff. This was one though that did the rounds online in terms of people watching it illicitly. Finishing up, we have Roofman. It's made 19 million total, made 2 million this weekend. I know some people who saw it and liked it. That was the one where that crazy person, the crazy American, came up to me and was like, I don't watch the news, but I listen to Congress, and just said all the wrong opinions he possibly could and sounded like an idiot, frankly. But she didn't like Roofman for reasons that seemed reasonable to me, in that she didn't like a movie that follows a criminal, makes you kind of, I wouldn't say feel sorry for him, but like sympathizes with him in a way. I get that. I've had that. I thought that about Hustlers. So I get what she's saying there. But man, was she dense. But a friend of mine, I know from high school, saw it and liked it. So good. So, the director, Derek Cianfrance, who did Place Beyond the Pines and Blue Valentine, worth watching. Channing Tatum, he does kind of real movies. So that's good. Although the last movie seemed fake as hell, Fly Me to the Moon, was okay. Yeah, it cost 19 million, so it's already heading towards the green. And then 10 is a movie called Truth and Treason by Angel Studios. Cool. Well, this one, not so cool because it's about Nazis, apparently. When loyalty to country becomes loyalty to a lie, one teen risks everything to expose the truth. With the Gestapo closing in, he must decide what it really means to be a good German. I read about this last week on this very pod, so, the fact that I'm mentioning it made the top 10 is great. And then just in a limited release, you have Begonia, 41,000 per theater average, or 42 if you want to round up. Goes wide on Halloween. People are saying Emma Stone is so great in it, and that the premise is broadly appealing. But like, people are like, oh, it's not for everyone, and it's like, well, what? Like the director's last 2 movies, Poor Things, and which I reviewed or talked about on this podcast, and The Favorite, were very, very like not for everyone, but they nonetheless gained widespread popularity, so I don't get that. It's not like Kinds of Kindness, where it's intentionally being annoying. So, yeah, that I don't get. And then, I'm just saying, number 20, Last Days, by Vertical. 26-year-old missionary journeys to the remote North Sentinel Island, determined to convert an isolated tribe while authorities attempt to intervene before potential harm occurs. Yes, this is from the director of Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, and Fast and Furious, and Fast 5, and Fast and Furious 6, one of my favorites. and F9, which is not good. But this is like one of the first movies he's done that's not of those films, aside from Star Trek Beyond. And it follows the 26-year-old missionary is a real life Darwin Award winner who was warned not to go to a place, went to a place, was warned, went back, was warned again. There won't be a third time, went back a third time because he was trying to convert somebody to Jesus Christ. So it'll be fascinating to see what that takes. And what I should see here is, as that annoying thing comes up again, yes, I'm aware of cookies. You don't have to remind me every single time. Do, do, do. Does that thing where it does the space for you and I hit a space anyway. Let's see what the reviews on it are. Because I'm surprised there aren't reviews on it. That have come across my way already. Well, I guess not, because people are like, I'm not going to watch a movie about an idiot. And 29%. Thoroughly disquieting without overtly judging its subject. That is annoying, because it's like, follow your dreams. Well, what if you're an idiot? People need to be more critical of calling out idiots, I think. According to RogerEbert.com, Last Days is a scattered, superficial depiction of a sad tale that requires deeper analysis. So they kind of cop out on it. That appears to be the thing. Any other critic reviews that stand out? Instead of delving into what lay behind John Allen Chow's recklessness, the film scatters itself across multiple plot angles that confuse more than clarify, and never making much of a point except for the point of no return. This drama is film that is as lost as its characters. Justin Wynn swaps Nos, the gas that for retelling of young man's doomed spiritual quest. Okay, yeah, whatever. It's interesting as the story is, Last Days offers a shallow understanding, at times seems fearful of taking a hard stance about him at all. This is a thing that, has come across politically in movies and in video games, where people are reluctant to call out stupidity because they notice that stupid people have a lot of money now, I guess, and they're trying to appeal to lowest common denominator. Anyways, it's not going to be a film I'm super excited to see, but yeah, were it a time of colonization, I think those missionary stories are interesting, like Silence, although that's a boring movie. The Mission, I don't like at all. I didn't like the one with the guy with the giant hat. I forget what it was called, but I was forced to watch it in religious class. And they just seem stupid to me, which is annoying because the concept of being a missionary is compelling in and of itself. Like, you're going on a mission to change somebody's belief system. Nothing should be greater or grander than that. But you don't compel. You got to compel the audience psychologically and get them either behind the character or against the character somehow. And that would be, I don't know, that'd be something where you could war with having the audience be against him or for him, or something like that. But yeah, that's it for that. I'm gonna get into my Letterboxd diary here, and we're gonna go through just what I've been watching since the last one. And I think my last one, if I can look at when my last episode was here, came out October 20th. So yeah, Perfect Neighbor was the last one I watched, and I gave that 3 stars. So Memoirs of a Geisha. So that one I gave 2 stars. And this is what I said about Memoirs of a Geisha. You know what? Instead of doing that, maybe I should just look through my letterbox on here, because that would make more sense. And so I'll do that because it's just faster. There's more RAM. I just said it's called Memoirs because everyone was asleep through most of it. Rob Marshall is not a great director, and this had it won cinematography. Dion Beebe was the cinematographer on it. It won production design, and it was a struggle to get through. Great cast. Gong Li is great in it. Unfortunately, she said not great things about, the Muslim Uyghurs and that kind of thing, which is not flattering, but Putting that aside, which I can always do, she's great in this and the best performance. Ken Watanabe is also in it. Zhang Ziyi is like the main character. I did not like the how they did her blue eyes, and it's supposed to be, my understanding is, because the story isn't super well told, about a woman who I believe is Japanese, grows up in China and becomes a geisha, and encounters a lot of people of different things, and who's basically a prostitute doll model all in one. Um, and It's just about her life, and it's supposed to bring you into this world of like 1960s. So it has all the hallmarks of like period piece, foreign land, production value, serious tone. So it was meant in 2005 to be like an Oscar movie. Spielberg was going to direct it, and John Williams signed on to do the score. And then Spielberg decided not to do it, and they got the director of Chicago. And the movie was like 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. It wasn't good, but I was like snoring because
Okay, switching to you. Because I ran out of battery on this thing, or sorry, this thing ran out of storage. But it says Memoirs of Another Kind. The movie is called Memoirs of a Geisha. That's the last one in the movie, and then it like cuts to credits, which is like so annoying. Are you kidding me? That was my reaction because it's one of those you can tell, and it's like considering the standard movie rule of like a movie is at its most hype when the title of the movie is said. The fact that it could have been the last line and then doesn't shows that Rob Marshall is a bad director. That's all I'll say about that. So, the next movie I saw, if I can go here, because again it's faster, is do do. So get to my journal, personal, da, 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 more activity. So I saw the TV glow next, and what's interesting about that is just that okay, I don't care about following. I just want okay. Well, there's only a few. I saw the TV glow is well I included that anyways. It seems weird because that was part of my thing, so of course I've reviewed that. That just throws me. I watched and rewatched. You can never find your diary when you want it. So I saw the TV glow, saw it under the right circumstances and appreciated it. 28 years later, I rewatched. A bit tougher and a bit more boring on rewatch. Boyle's direction stands tall in the overall themes and plotting holds up, but Alex Garland's script has boring dialogue and tonal inconsistencies. Great performances by the three leads in that of Ray Fiennes, Alfie Williams, who is the boy, Aaron Taylor Johnson is good, and so is Jodie Comer. All very good, actually. So that's four leads. Excellent cinematography, music, and sounds. Boyle should be nominated for Best Director, but won't. I am cautiously optimistic for The Bone Temple, which released its trailer. Um, so it's disappointing when you rewatch your favorite movie of the year, and it's like, oh, this is a bit tough. But at least it wasn't as tough as the I Know What You Did Last Summer remake, which has the worst script of the year. But no surprise, since the co-writer director sucks. I just didn't like Jennifer Caitlin Robinson's last movie, Do Revenge, although it was a big hit, and this was profitable. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Um, so I mean, good for her. They delivered exactly what you um, wanted. The annoying thing is that it's called I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it's a sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer. So how does that make sense? Um, wasn't a big fan of like I found all of the young characters pretty unlikable. Um, but the movie, cost 18 million, made 64 million. So you do the math. That's like three and a half times its budget. But it's like such a small film that I nobody liked, and the turn of it is just that it doesn't make any sense. Big insult to the previous film in the series, as the killer's motivation was not developed well and doesn't make any sense. I'll leave it at that. Elio, I saw just the other day. Um, 1 star for the animation, minus half a star for the character animation, which looks so plain and ugly. It looks like out of Horton Hears a Who, out of Whoville. And 1.5 stars because when Elio returns to the beach, it's about a kid who gets abducted by aliens and they believe he's the leader of Earth. Um, and it's just kind of like Wall-E light, but not very well told. The director was formerly the director of Luca. And A weird thing that they did was they gave the kid an eye patch, and I'm wondering if they made it as his character. I thought, oh, that's nice. And in the original trailers, you can see him with the eye patch, and it's just like a cross across his eye. And then later on, they clearly reanimated and made it like a full patch, like a band-aid. And it's like, is this about a kid with one eye? And it's just, no, he gets sand kicked in his eye, so he has to wear an eye patch. And it means kind of nothing. But it's kind of, I don't know, hate to say it, but it's like hard to look at. Um, but anyways, it's it doesn't represent anything tonally, thematically, or anything, which could have elevated it and made it more meaningful, I guess. But uh, when he comes back to the beach before the final act, um, and we silently cut to the aunt's message asking him to come home, it moved me a bit actually. So I yeah, I was pleased with that. I'm just doing this here to make sure that I'm not. Uh, yeah, we're still rolling. Um, I like that. I like that a lot. And but the movie itself was 2 stars out of five because it moved me, and I appreciate the work they spent on the animation, but the story was so uninspired. Um, then I saw House of Dynamite. It's like that scene from HBO's The Newsroom, where they're notified that Bin Laden was killed while they're on a plane, and they're, for some reason, they're very proud, as if like they did it themselves. And I just kind of found the whole Bin Laden thing when it happened. I don't want to say it was distasteful, but even though he's a terrorist, deserved to die, all that stuff. The amount of celebrating of it, it was just kind of like, well, so many more people had died since 9/11 in the wars as a response to it. Um, and everybody's saying party in the USA and like, okay. But it, uh, it was a very, pro-America movie, but it was well made, like well made propaganda. So I enjoyed Zero Dark 30. And then The Newsroom was poorly made propaganda that felt like a television procedural, and this feels more like that than Catherine Bigelow's last film. It turns out it was written by Noah Oppenheim, who was the former director, I believe, of NBC News. So when I found out that after I saw the movie, I'm like, oh, that's why this feels like a movie that feels like an Obama era movie, because the president is played by Idris Elba and basically plays him like Obama, and it's sort of like jarring because you're like, I cannot imagine this happening the way that it does. The setup of the movie is basically a missile is headed for the White House, or a nuclear bomb, and they can't figure out who shot it and where, and they have to like deflect it somehow, and they have things going on. But the script is kind of silly. It has a triptych structure where it's like, here's an act from the same thing from the different point of view, same thing from the different point of view. And it's supposed to go up the chain where it's just kind of like low level army people, middle level management like State Department, and then the executive White House and stuff like that. But it's just stupid. And then the ending just feels completely like a cop out, completely. Um, yeah, I didn't like the film. I don't think a lot of people did. It's skillfully edited, has a good cast. I'd like to shout out Gabriel Basso, who plays the night agent, played J.D. Vance. He was good in this, as was Jason Clarke, who just the two of them in the second act of the story feel like people who could fit in any administration. The issue is just I cannot imagine this happening or how it would be happening under the Donald Trump administration. So yeah, um, that's uh, all I really have to say about that. And I guess I'll get into my last movie. Um, yeah. I'll just finish my letterbox review though first. The night agent slash fake J.D. Vance has become the de facto Hollywood politicking, and Jason Clarke and him are the only actors who seem to know what movie they're in. Everyone else is kind of like, is this a serious drama? Is this an action movie? Is this like, I wouldn't say satire, but it's just kind of like the movie basically tries to borrow from our reality while being like 10 years too late. So Bigelow hasn't sharpened her tool set since Zero Dark 30 and has nothing new to say. Detroit from 2017 that was kind of like the de facto. Just because this happened one time doesn't mean it's necessarily a good or compelling story. And I find a lot of her movies don't really have a lot of plot going on, at least as of late. Haven't seen K-19 though, so that's from gotta be now 20 years ago. But her last movie was 8 years ago, and then her previous movie was 5 years before that. Her previous movie was 3 years before that. So since winning the Oscar for Best Director for The Hurt Locker, um, she's made one, two, three movies over um, 16 years. So that's like one movie every 5 years. Not a lot. And again, the last one was 8 years ago, so it's a bummer. Yeah. The movie is so delusionally planted in bygone Obama era politics that won't return no matter how much Hollywood wishes it would, that it doesn't bother to create its own reality. The structure is very tedious and needlessly heavy, with very little substance that when a high ranking officer is killed, I had to laugh. Frankly, this movie is chicken shit. Okay. River Wild, I'll get to, because I don't want this computer to turn off to check in every so often. Um, so, is that date even right? 7/3/2025. Hmm, that just seems weird because it's not July 3rd, 2025, nor is it March 7th if you want to be British about it. I'm gonna see if I can fix that. Probably. Well, I can't fix it while they're being operated simultaneously, so that's a bit of a bummer. Um, Anyway, I'll just finish up with the River Wild. More like River Thames. Um, Adam Brody is 130 pounds soaking wet, so why can't Taron kill him? Kill him? There's not enough meat on the bone of the screenplay, is why. As Brody himself is way too naturally calming a presence to play Psycho, which he failed to do once before in Jennifer's Body, where he just, he's a guy who plays himself, and he's good at playing himself. Here he's supposed to play kind of like a wiry, desperate guy who, you know, got out of some jail time. They keep it pretty vague. Um, and you need somebody wiry, desperate, illogical, and he's just way too calm and he's like, I'm a psychopath, man. It's what are we doing here? What he is doing is he's working with his wife, who has a terrible wig in this film, Leighton Meester, and she is working with her former co-star from Single Parents, Taron Killam, who's also on Saturday Night Live. I like that guy. He's a naturally likable presence and funny. Neither of which he really is here, though. It was entertaining, 2.5 stars. Uh, yeah. Um, to pull off the character Brody is playing here, he needs to be more wiry, desperate, and illogical, and he's too quiet and low energy. Not worth mentioning in the same breath as the original Meryl Streep, Kevin Bacon, John C. Riley, David Strathairn film. The character relationships are very poorly established. I wasn't even sure if it's like if Taron Killam was Leighton Meester's friend or boyfriend or something. I felt like they changed a lot and fiddled around with it, so it vaguely is fits together very vaguely rather than strongly. And as a result, it has an abrupt ending. Leighton's wig is bad too, and so is her acting when she is fighting Brody. Because I'm like, you're fighting your husband. She's just not convincing. She's like, ooh, ooh, like you don't feel the desperation and any of that. And then last night I watched a movie, which annoyingly, because my battery was dead, I didn't put it in, so I'm gonna have to look up here and see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure it was on Netflix. So let me see here. If I can scroll to Netflix. It's asking to send me notifications. Very annoying. Don't care, don't care, don't care. Account. Account details, password. Okay, yes, I know that's my current thing. Did I watch it on Xbox? No, I didn't. It's not gonna let me bring up my thing. Just want to see what I watched. I did this once before, guys, I swear. Um, yes, I know. Care about why can I not remember it? I mean, it's on Netflix, so that's why. Maybe if it shows me continue watching. I did watch, I remember now, John Candy, I Like Me. And I liked it. But it's just, boilerplate. If you like John Candy, you like this. Colin Hanks directs it. Ryan Reynolds produces it. Um, it like I don't know a whole lot about John Candy. It's again another one of those documentaries that doesn't really tell you a whole lot about who this character is, which are kind of like vanity um, documentaries, which is weird for somebody who's dead. So it just kind of feels a tiny bit of a waste of like I could have read their Wikipedia page, but it's nice they want to pay tribute and stuff, and they throw in an original song that they'll probably submit for Oscars. But yeah, John Candy, I Like Me. See a bunch of clips of John Candy's work, but it's not doesn't make him more interesting. It doesn't get into what makes him such a unique presence. It's just like, oh, doesn't everybody love John Candy? Evidently so, yes. Um, if I remember the other film that I forgot to watch the other night, I'll be sure to do it. Um, I'm just gonna give it one more shot here. Do 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 do. Count profiles viewing activity. Yes, yes, yes. Is it gonna make me sign in? Yes, yes, yes. It's me. Is it gonna go to manage profiles? There we go. Okay. I have been watching Nobody Wants This, of course, and the last thing I did watch was Host of Dynamite on here. Okay, well, doesn't help me. Did I watch something I crave? Well, I did watch, whatchamacallit, but, it's weird. I feel like I would have seen something else. Been watching The Chair Company. I'll bring that up while I can still remember. First two episodes, it's fine. It's what you expect. Kind of ridiculous. It's about a guy who falls off a chair, literally, at an important presentation, and everybody laughs at him. And he tries to, figure out what's going on. Another thing that I started watching was that I've had on DVR forever is Matthew Rankin's Universal Language, A World in Which Farsi is the main language of Canada. It's one of those that is not my cup of tea. It has its own visual style, minimalist, filmic. Um, Interesting artistic exercise, not really my bag though, but good for Matthew Rankin, and it's the kind of film that's worthy of a submission to the Academy Awards, which Canada did. Um, but I've had that on DVR. But I do have the whole Ween remake, um, Rob Zombies, which I want to watch, but it's on AMC, so it's going to be censored. And then if I go down, maybe Paramount Plus will be the last thing. And oh, one thing I'll say while I remember is Amazon Luna is now available, or it always was, with Amazon Prime subscription. So I'm gonna maybe try and play a new video game that way, and see if that works. I guess I'll get into the TV now because I don't think I'll be able to pop up and be like, oh, I like this. Keep watching. Yeah, nothing nothing new here. And it wouldn't be on Tubi. wouldn't be on Disney Plus. Oh, I did what Hocus Pocus 2 was something I watched today. Didn't like the first one. Super overrated movie. Story is kind of lame. The jokes are lame. But at least it looked like a movie because it was made in the 90s. And it's funny. I watched it today and completely forgot about it. I guess I liked it better than the first because it was less embarrassing, but I didn't laugh once. I didn't find the characters that compelling. It was just kind of like about girls who are into witch stuff and then summon um, or run into a magic shop owner who's a real wizard and summons the three witches from the first movie back. And th- when they finally get their power, it costs them, and then they immediately wish back. And it's like a nothing burger of a film. Like, it's pretty funny that I like almost forgot about it. Along with John Candy's I Like Me. Like I saw this today, and I'm struggling to come up with anything. Like it, I want to say it looked fine, but it didn't. It looked fake. There was a lot of green screening, obvious green screening there that the original didn't have. The big thing about this movie is that it could have had substance to it culturally, because it was a big hit on Disney Plus, and they sent it straight to Disney Plus. And Disenchanted was another one that they could have that year when it came out sent straight to um, theaters, and they instead sent it to Disney Plus and left a lot of money on the table. Stupid stuff. But like, who cares? I'm not an executive there. But yeah, um, I really got nothing here. Like, there's nothing funny that Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, or Sarah Jessica Parker do. Um, the script is kind of about nothing. It's not really even about the girls' friendships. It has nothing new to say, and it's about witches. And you have Tony Hale there, who kind of feels like the only person who's giving a performance, and he's just like the principal. He plays or he's the mayor. He plays the mayor in like 1693 or whatever as well in Salem, Massachusetts. And you're like, oh, is he secretly going to be a bad guy? The answer is no. He's just befuddled the whole time. So he's kind of the only one that brings presence, which is weird because this is a movie with Bette Midler that stars Anne Fletcher, and it's just they they don't get a hold of it. So I haven't even rated it, but the fact that I completely forgot that I had watched it until now is like, that'll tell you something. But let me just get onto TV here. Uh, and I'll get to that. Apologize for the lighting here. I didn't want to drag in um, my stuff in here. I wonder if I switch to this, that will be better uh, for the last bit of it here. So, going into my notes here, what have I got? Nobody Wants This. Started watching it. I saw the first season a couple months after it came out. It was fine. There's not a lot of plot moving it forward. It's very development centered, character driven. So you're like, oh, this is stupid. Why am I watching this? And then something will happen. So it keeps you watching. It's funny enough. The characters are amiable enough. Um, Kristen Bell is good. Adam Brody is fine. Um, Justine Lupe is good, and Timothy Simons. They basically like kind of carry they're starting to carry the show a bit more. I'm about halfway through the second season. Gonna finish it. Looking forward to it. I'll probably watch it right after this. And yeah, it's good for a few laughs, for sure. Good performances, entertaining characters. Nobody Wants This. If you're being dragged to watch it by your girlfriend, it's fine. It's totally watchable. The episodes are only half an hour. It's 10 episodes. So um, I'm trying to think. That's like 5 hours per season. So 10 hours total. There you go. Tulsa King. Somebody commented about like I don't like Stallone's latest look. And it's just like he's 75, 76 now. He's looking a bit weak. And this is somebody who's, Stallone is obviously an icon. Uh, but why is Sistine Stallone coming up? I meant to go to Sylvester Stallone and Tulsa King, and his daughter came up. Daughter, who is on the show, his other daughter, is very attractive. They're all attractive, though. So, like, good for them. Best thing. Sylvester Stallone never did was marry Jennifer Flavin, who saved his career. And when he was almost divorcing her and they brought it back together, like, saved his life. Bro, you have no idea how poorly you would have done without Jennifer. Um, but Stallone himself now is 79, and he's visibly kind of weak. Where it's kind of like they start to walk around and they feel unbalanced, like they could fall over or be knocked over. You still kind of can't play the tough guy. You can, no matter what age, I always feel you can fake like one good punch and stuff, but he just doesn't seem as sturdy. Um, but anyways, if I can get into it, on I'll go to his acting credits and then I'll go to Tulsa King. I don't know why I decided to do this way. Um, but he's still doing the Family Stallone, eh? Second season. It is Paramount Plus. Renewed for a second season, which premiered. Yeah, but did they renew for a third season? It's well made. I don't know. But anyways, getting into it. Tulsa King. Somebody said I don't like his look. He looks like an Xbox 360 cutscene. And somebody's like, too much Tulsa, not enough King. Samuel L. Jackson is supposed to show up on this show, but I don't know when it's going to happen. Currently, it's Robert Patrick as the bad guy. Now it's gotten to the point where there's a bad guy, and then a season later they survive and they kind of become the good guy. So that's odd, but whatever. Um, Frank Grillo is good. A lot of the cast are good. It's sort of depressing to see Martin Starr. I mean, he's always been the same or whatever, but now he's like in his mid 40s and stuff and like middle aged. And even though I didn't watch Freaks and Geeks when it was on, it's sort of weird to see him go from like adult guy and knocked up to like mid 40s, but he looks the same. I don't know. I don't. I gotta learn to like have my own nostalgia, not just steal everyone else's. But that's the millennial in me. Um, yeah, this is a plotless season. Hasn't been very interesting. Last season was written by Terrence Winter. This season, he's nowhere to be seen. I wish he would come back because there was apparently Sheridan was more character driven and Winter was more plot driven. And now that Winter's gone, it's like it's characters but no plot. So it's there's not a lot of them to go on. There's nothing for them to build their characters on. So it's just kind of rinse and repeat again and again and again and again. And for a show that's weekly, it's like, come on, he's being led around, go here, do this thing with Kevin Pollak, and there's something about breweries and stuff like that, and I just don't care. Um, so yeah, is that really all I have to say about Tulsa King? I guess. Um, uh, Welcome to Derry. Okay. This I watched last night, the very first episode. Second episode comes out at Halloween. I watched this almost like looking at my phone a bunch, and I'm just kind of like, okay, it's setting up this character, and then it's like, oh well, it looks pretty much like it. And it does this fantastic thing at the very end, which makes it somewhat worth it, is kills a lot of characters. Um, and that you go, oh, okay. Like, so this is about this instead. So it won't be able to pull off that trick, obviously, every episode going forward, but hopefully that, like, snaps it into focus, because, you should be able to give any TV show one full episode of your time, and if it doesn't hook you, that's fine. People say, oh, you have to watch a few episodes. No, you have to watch one episode. If you don't like it, there it is. There it is. Back in the day, you could be a lot more episodic and jump in on like episode 3, and it would hook you. Um, and then you'd catch it years later on a rerun. Uh, but now everybody watches everything in order. That's a bit boring. Sometimes I'll jump in and be like, you know what, I can follow the rookie or whatever is going on. Because there's a bit of professionalism to a TV show when it's like we know people are going to be jumping in. We got to have this, um, and it can keep the ball rolling. I always find that really interesting. TV doesn't do that anymore. What it does do, in the case of it, Welcome to Derry, is have very cheap costumes with brand new fabric and lit very flat in low key lighting. You can see on mine, if I can look at myself again here. Um, well, it's not going to show right here, but like there's sort of like, look at how dark this shirt is. Or if I turn off if I switch tabs here, you can see the high key lighting on my face. Like it's like under my eyes here, it's like dark. Instead, everything is lit like that. Like this gives you attitude, gives you mystery and stuff. Here, this is how TV shows are written, and it's like I'm supposed to be mysterious because I'm an actor who was in a mysterious role previously, and you can glean that because people on the internet will tell you that's how TV works now. It's all trading off of existing history, and it drives me nuts. Um, because it's just kind of like everything's lit for coverage. Nothing means anything. Nobody's making a statement. Everything tiptoes up to the line and is afraid to say anything because these companies are so large that they have a lot of money to lose. And when you have a lot to lose, you are more conservative. And when you're more conservative, you're less adventurous. You're not taking hits and stuff like that, or throwing punches on something. That's why people respond to something like one battle after another. But that's the exception to the rule. The edgiest, most cinematic movie that's not that in here, if I can go to that. Um, Black Phone 2, yikes, if that's the case. Shelby Oaks, maybe, maybe. I haven't seen Roofman, but I'm sure that'll look okay. After the Hunt, probably. This movie hasn't done well, by the way. Released by Amazon of all people, um, and made 2.9 million. Wasn't well received. People don't like what it has to say. I wonder if it's going to be a Sun style debacle where it like confidently just lands on the complete wrong side of the argument. But you know, that's what movies are for. You know, that was the issue with Last Days. People didn't want to watch it because they're like, well, it doesn't pose this guy. It doesn't know which side to go on. Be confidently wrong when you're making artistic choices because it will at least lead the audience down to something interesting. And Welcome to Derry is like standard TV. You know, we've seen this sort of thing before. But, you know, I thought the ending was dynamite and worked really well. Is that going to work for the rest of the series? No. Is it enough to review it? No. I never review based off of pilots. I'll keep watching it, but it's best to wait until the end. Task is a solid like B grade show. Uh, 75 out of 100, 7.5 out of 10. Um, as it goes on, it gets more interesting. Starts off really generically with dumb characters, which again, I brought up Brad Inglesby. I brought him up on the last episode. He wrote the script and runs the show on the show about a task force in who's brought together to investigate spate of home invasions, which have been robbing drug houses or something like that. Um, it's fine. The issue it does that keeps it from greatness is it lets its characters off the hook a lot, which I hate because it's like you've done all the character work, just let them follow through. I comment this about House of Dynamite, which doesn't like again you have one of the best directors around, and then you stop short of saying anything uh, as a total cop out. It's the kind of thing where any ending works. Like, and The Long Walk is the same, where it's like if you had a completely bleak ending where everybody dies, that movie would be great. If you have an ending where you showed the work and showed that you lived, or with A House of Dynamite showed that um, uh, the missile or was fake, or it was real and there's no coming back, or it was real but it malfunctioned, or this or that or the other thing that it was real but malfunctioned would be interesting. But it's this argument has already been done in Doctor Strangelove in a movie called Failsafe, which I have yet to see, but it's just kind of like why put all of this stuff together to do something that's been done before? You're not serving your audience that way. And Task kind of does that thing where as the character, you go on a journey with them, you understand their point of view, you bring them to make a tough decision, and then you don't follow through on it. You don't make them suffer the consequences of it or benefit from it. And it's just to me feels like it's stopping short of telling a story. But if you come across it, watch Task. But I would still say watch Nobody Wants This first, and I haven't even finished that because that feels like it's moving its characters forward. That and an ongoing show is always better than a show that's finished because you're in it. Blue Jays playoff. They're playing right now. The score as of this recording, I could walk out there. Um, is it gonna tell me? Is it gonna tell me? Is it gonna tell me? It is not gonna tell me. Live updates. And then I go to another link. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Let me check. That's tied at the top of the seventh, 4-4. Don't know why, I've been trying to use DuckDuckGo and it's good for security and all that, but it's not good at, any of the things that Google does, which is frustrating because somebody should be able to. Maybe I should use Yahoo, I don't know. So, what else have I got going on here? Because we're getting to the end of this episode. Do, do, do. Um, oh yeah, I went downtown to watch the Blue Jays on the big screen. Market Square. It was cold. Went down there, brought blanket and chair. Mm. I'm eating Halloween candy size of a Mars bar, and it's very good. Probably shouldn't have eaten it while I was talking to you, but um, mm, chocolate hits nice. First, you Mars Corporation. Um, so I went and saw it. Wasn't sure if I'd watch the whole game because it was also Queen's FOCO, fake homecoming. They did homecoming last weekend, but they come home when reading week is, and they don't want everybody partying because Queens famously parties. And so all the alumni come when none of the students are there for reading week, which is their week break, which they put in place originally because too many students were depressed and killing themselves. Not too many, not a huge amount, but university is depressing. It's very tough. It's probably one of the most psychologically demanding experiences, at least in my lifetime and of many's, higher education, because it's like the first time you're completely on your own and you're overwhelmed with huge amount of work that you've never done before. And it's probably the time where you're going to have to focus the most in your life. As somebody who has ADD, let me tell you, it is tough. Um, anyways, so they always decide to have their homecoming weekend as a result, like the next weekend. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go out, maybe I'll go to the bar, that kind of thing. But I'm also driving. Um, and I just didn't really find anywhere to park. I didn't want to wait in a line at Stages nightclub, which I've been to 3 or 4 times maybe. Went on a Tinder date there, did not go well. I went with friends. That was kind of fun one time. I went for drinks before, it wasn't great. Um, And then I went to the brass. I remember being told I was too old and I was like, this was like 8 years ago. I'm 32 now. I was like 24, and a girl out of the blue walks up to me, starts having a conversation, asks how old I am, and it's one of those things where it crosses through your head. You're like, should I be mean here? And I didn't because I'm a polite person. I really wish I wasn't though, because it's just kind of like you gotta stand up for you. But it's like, who you standing up to? Like nobody. It's somebody you're never gonna see again. So it's one thing I've learned, and I guess the lesson to learn watching the Blue Jays game was the known knowns you take care of. I went down, I watched the game, The Blue Jays lost, unfortunately, but I came down there. I did what I wanted to do, and I drove home. And every time that I've tried to kind of push beyond and like, oh, let's do this. Let me just hang around and see what happens. It's just a waste of time, and you're tired, and you're sad that something amazing didn't happen. And if there's one thing I've learned, I'm guessing the Blue Jays just scored. Um, if there's one thing I've learned, it's just chase what you know that can satisfy you, and stick to that like glue. And anything, if an opportunity comes up, take it. But there's no need to wait around and hope for something with nothing but a hope and a prayer. So that's what I did. I guess, younger me would have like gone into a bar anyway and done something, but I just didn't want to, and that's a symbol of me getting older of like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Living too much the retired life. But when I live on my own, I will go back to that lifestyle, even if it's, considered too late for some. Uh, what else do I have here? So the Blue Jays, are winning. That's great to know. I'm getting the same vibe of energy of, I believe it was 2019, Game of Thrones, um, in May, when the Toronto Raptors won. I remember this because I decided to watch the worst episode of Game of Thrones ever instead of watching the Toronto Raptors win a very pivotal game where it bounced on the rim and had it go in. From now on, I was like, shoot, if they win, I'm going to be very annoyed. And this is the same vibe, except I'm catching it as it's happening, or I'm talking to you as it's happening. But spirit of the nation aside, when those kinds of things happen, it really lets you know, like, even again, I'm not watching the game live. Um, am I a Blue Jays fan? I mean, I'm Canadian. They're the only Canadian team. I want them to win. I like their colors. I even took a photo of a Blue Jay. Which I want to bring up this other one here on this device. Download. Too slow. Um, I'll just bring it up on my Insta. Came into my backyard. Is it even going to load? That's from far away. That was on my regular camera, my Zoom camera. It's in the backyard. So, because there's going to be a reflection, but yeah, that one's on my regular camera. This is on my. There was enough time. My mom threw it the bird seed, and so I was able to get this nice shot. Anyway, it looks nice. You can see it on my video. Um, Wilhelm FilmGamer. So yeah, I want them to win. Blue Jays, cool mascot and whatnot. Um, so even though I'm not watching the game, this will reflect the record of the spirit of the nation at the time. And you know what I'll say? I feel pretty good. So, getting down to video game setup, I successfully activated Moonbeam, which I mentioned earlier. I just need to resolve the streaming situation. Maybe I'll just uh, go straight from YouTube and see if that works, but it's already integrated, so it shouldn't be that too hard. Lego Party, I mentioned, I played the space level, new game improvements, and practice level and playing in screen. I got Sonic and Sega Crossworlds next to play, and Luna next. I have a friend who a family member, sorry, who I can play through Luna hopefully on there, but I don't know if I can stream, so I'll have to like figure that out and see if I can do that. And that's it. I don't plan on delving into any specific Fortnightmare content, but next time you see me, it will be after I do my script reading, after I do my TikToks. Um, and they're not my TikToks. Somebody pays me to do their TikToks, and it's one of those. Hey, if you'll pay me, happy to do it. It's a service I provide, helping people um, uh, do TikToks. It's just something I fell into. Hey, I have an idea. Great, I'll hold the camera. I do have my own Panasonic Lumix GH5 Mark II, which does integrate into TikTok. You can wirelessly stream into that, but and the video quality would be outstanding and probably elevate you. But it's just easy to use your phone and it's on your hard drive, your storage, and that, and you have control over that. So if you can just do what you want, do it that way. We don't have to go advanced. But if somebody wanted to call me and do that, we could definitely figure out how to happen. It's just we gotta, you know, figure it out together quickly, and would probably take us a whole day or a session. But yeah, I got that going on. I got my script reading. I got my shooting tomorrow night. Or sorry, tomorrow night I'm doing the TikToks. So I got the script reading tomorrow morning. Um, uh, TikToks tomorrow afternoon, and then I have what else is there? The next day I have an interview, the podcast interview, FilmGamer podcast, interviewing the director of Cuisine de l'Apocalypse. And then after that, I am shooting that religious scene, which I'm excited to do. So, a lot to come down to, and hopefully I can, put it together for you and give you some good stories to tell. But until then, welcome to the Film Gamer podcast. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you next time.